Welcome to another episode of CNMI Weekly. I'm your host Thomas Manglona, where on this show we recap the biggest headlines from the past week and share what you need to know heading into the weekend. In our first story, dozens of Guam and CNMI leaders are convening on Saipan this week to discuss tourism and travel issues. The Association of Mariana Islands Mayors, Vice Mayors, and elected municipal council members will convene on Saipan this week. KUAM sat down with Guam Visitors Bureau President and former Guam Governor Carl Gutierrez, who arrived on Saipan Wednesday. He's meeting with NMI Governor Arnold Palacios, Lieutenant Governor David Apatang, and Marianas Visitors Authority Managing Director Chris Concepcion. This Friday, he will speak to Guam and CNMI leaders about the visa waiver program.
They asked me if we could come here and speak about the Philippines Guam CNMI visa waiver, but not only that, but also into some tourism aspects of that visa waiver coming into effect, if it comes into effect.
The meeting comes as leaders on Guam and the NMI have welcomed the idea that requires Department of Homeland Security approval. A resolution supporting the effort is moving through the Congress of the Philippines.
This is our strategy. The U.S. continue to take up more space and land and areas in the Philippines. They're over up to 9 bases already they're building. And there's one thing that they can ask. It's not going to hurt. Guam, CNMI only visa. And where are they going to go from here? They can't get on a plane to go to the United States mainland. And so it's pretty much a done deal that they're going to either overstay on Saipan or Rota or Guam, but we would find them, and we don't believe that there will be any overstays.
He said Guam's tourism industry is recovering.
Hopefully, by the end of September 30 this fiscal year, that we would hit 60% of pre-COVID numbers. Those pre-COVID numbers was 1.6 plus million.
Gutierrez explained that Guam should be able to share the same markets that islands in Micronesia seek. The regional talks will also include potential plans to push U.S. Congress to exempt the islands from federal cabotage laws, allowing foreign airlines to provide low-cost inter-island travel for residents too.
I think the big issue is to stand as one voice to get that cabotage going, so that foreign carriers can come through here, go to Guam, go to Palau, go to FSM, or to Marshalls. So that's one thing. But in the meantime, how do we share resources between, let's say, Rota and Guam? Rota being less than 40 miles away. One airline has about, I think, 6 aircraft, 8 passenger aircraft. So we're trying to figure out how to make Rota a Guam optional tour. And so we're working on that very closely with the mayors.
And in our next story, we sit down with the Hotel Association of the Northern Mariana Islands, where its leaders share some challenges in the struggling economy. The state of the Northern Marianas hotel industry is
simply speaking, survival mode for everybody,
The Hotel Association of the Northern Mariana Islands' 11 hotel members reported a 38% average occupancy rate in 2023. He said hotels start to make a profit at 80%.
If air service remains where it is, with no foreseeable improvement in air seats to be coming in, it's pretty sure that hotel properties on the island will have to take drastic measures.
He said the industry is slowly bleeding as operating and maintaining buildings are costly. He said that the last time they saw numbers reach the 80% threshold was in 2019, and that was in the aftermath of Typhoon Yutu and before the pandemic. The numbers have shaken every sector of the community.
When you have hotels at 34% occupancy year-round, the wholesalers selling the pork belly, the lobster tails, the this, the that, they're not taking orders. So the containers arriving at the port is down. That also affects the coffers.
Currently, South Korea dominates the market. They admit there needs to be at least 3 vibrant source markets to cushion the NMI's fall. But there is hope with the return of Hong Kong Airlines later this month.
Not one property is feasting year-round. And so everybody's fielding losses. So it's very difficult to answer that question of what happens next, because it's really about the owners of these hotels and their appetite to continue shoveling out cash losses.
And the Northern Mariana Islands has committed to reaching 100% renewable energy by 2045. Here's more. The Northern Marianas inks a major agreement to transition to 100% renewable energy by 2045.
Viva CNMI Green Growth!
The Northern Marianas signed the Blue Planet Climate Agreement on Monday. It's part of a global effort to pivot away from the reliance on fossil fuels. CNMI Governor Arnold Palacios, who recently launched the CNMI Green Growth Initiative, said the time to act is now.
The Commonwealth's transition to renewable energy sources is even more important now, more than ever. So as we've seen in our neighboring islands in Micronesia and elsewhere throughout the world, climate change poses a significant threat to our environment, our economy, and our way of life.
The Blue Planet Alliance is a nonprofit based out of Hawaii. They work with local government to keep them on track to fulfill the promise of transitioning to cleaner energy. Francois Rogers is the executive director.
By having CNMI join the alliance, along with many other islands that's already signed this agreement, it shows the unity and the collective effort that we could do this together. If we put our heads together and set our mind and set a deadline, anything is achievable.
Guam Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and Senator Amanda Shelton attended the event to support the cause just after the University of Guam's Conference on Island Sustainability.
The Marianas, both Guam and the CNMI, just are joined. We're looking at making sure that we can help each other through all of the challenges and the opportunities that we face. And today, the CNMI taking a step to 100% renewable helps our environment. I mean, we're one Marianas.
NMI leaders hope to build innovative infrastructure that pushes them toward the historic goal. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll have more CNMI Weekly right after this. Welcome back to another episode of CNMI Weekly. In our next story, we sit down with former Republican candidate for CNMI delegate John Gonzalez as he relaunches his campaign as an independent. Here's more. It's official. Again.
I am running as your independent candidate for NMI delegate to the U.S. Congress, as your economy delegate.
Former Republican candidate for NMI delegate John Gonzalez officially relaunching his campaign for D.C. as an independent. He withdrew from the GOP primary against Kimberlyn King Hines earlier this month, days before it was set to take place.
My primary reason for withdrawing with hesitation from the Republican Party as a candidate was because the power and right of voters to vote for their candidate they unequivocally believe in without any restriction by a political party are quintessentially fundamental, that no one individual, group, or organization whatsoever shall deprive or suppress, which is in violation, I think, of one's human right to vote.
Gonzalez said he communicated that he wanted an open primary. And in his letter to the GOP about his exit, his campaign said they have indisputable evidence calling into question the neutrality of party officials.
Now that I'm independent candidate, I don't have to worry about any political mockery or trickery or sabotage because our people deserve better.
KUAM asked Gonzalez if his departure from the GOP would splinter the Republican vote in November and assist opposing candidates.
Perhaps there's some weight to that argument, but I want the people to know that I mean well, that I am as ingenious, that I am as real, I'm as authentic as you want your candidate to be.
And in our last story, we speak with military officials who will be providing health services to residents in the summer at no cost to the community. Operation Wellness will bring 150 service members to Rota, Tinian, and Saipan under the Innovative Readiness Training.
Excited to be able to bring these services to the community at no cost. And I spoke about services. We're providing 5 areas of care to the community, starting specifically with medical care, doing youth physicals and screenings. We'll be providing dental care. We'll also be providing veterinary care, behavioral health with counseling and also screenings. And then the last would be optometry, so with eyeglass fabrications.
They've expanded their time on island to a month. This year's mission will run from June 8 to 18 and June 20 to June 28th. The Army Reserve, Air National Guard, Air Force, and Navy are involved.
And if the numbers are anything like last year we provided services to over 3,000 patients for a grand total of approximately 24,000 procedures. So we're hoping to come back and do much the same.
The mission comes at a critical time.
This is a great opportunity for the people of the CNMI. As you know, we're experiencing an economic decline, and what this does is that it ensures that our community is always healthy. A healthy community will build a healthy economic prosperity.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of CNMI Weekly. We'll see you right here, same time, same place next week.